We've got some huge updates to Vision Pro that make it way more usable.
Welcome to the All Future podcast, where we talk all things tech, Apple, AI, humanoid robots, and more throughout the week. If you're enjoying these videos, thank you so much for watching, and consider subscribing. We'd really appreciate that. Today we're joined by Andrew in the studio.
In studio.
And we're specifically talking about Apple Vision on this episode. So the first thing is for the Apple Vision. I think it's probably the only VR AR headset that is shipped without controllers.
Yes.
And that's a very Apple move, like remove the stylus from the iPhone. And then eventually there comes around the better version, like the Apple Pencil. Remove whatever, and then eventually there's a better version that we do want. Seems like the Apple Vision may be gaining a controller here. And they're finally recognizing where a controller might actually be necessary. So Apple apparently doesn't have immediate plans to launch their own controller, but they've been prototyping a wand for the Apple Vision for quite some time. I just like to picture like a Harry Potter wand.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what this is. But apparently it's like kind of an Apple Pencil-like tool for like precise control, and it's not specifically for gaming. It's for more of like work. I'm assuming like 3D art and stuff like that.
Yeah. You see that in the Meta Quest too, the 3D art sort of things. This makes sense, especially because this tool at this point is just used for really high-level design or really high-level like corporate, 3D structures or things that you're looking at. If you're trying to pitch something to someone and you want to get them like see it in real life, it's really hard to imagine these things. And so when you're dealing with millions and billions of dollars, you want to make sure you have your best pitch forward. And if you have like one extra thing that helps you design that thing better or have more control over it or do it in a way that's more intuitive to someone than just using your hands, I see this as a good move.
Yeah. But at the same time, it does feel a little bit like Apple kind of recognizing maybe our input device that we went with wasn't as good as we thought it was for the Apple Vision.
Yeah, and I know they didn't. It seems like they didn't want to brand this thing as a gaming device, but there's so much potential in Apple Vision as being the best gaming device on the planet, and so it's such a wasted space when you didn't ship it with controllers and have it and access to a game library.
Yeah,
and it's still really hard to get games on the Apple Vision Pro. They have to be made directly for Apple Vision Pro, or there's some ports from other VR games, but like using your hands is very awkward, and the inputs don't feel as natural.
Yeah, there's stuff like Fruit Ninja that I've used, and it's like an AR Fruit Ninja. So it's cool because it like adds into your space, and then you're in there chopping with your arms and stuff. But it does feel it's just like the slightest bit behind what a controller's input would be. And that's because it's using cameras to track your hand movements, and it's really good, but it's just not the same as a controller that's getting the inputs on its own and sending it direct. So there are some other rumors there that we might get controllers that will help with gaming, and they're going to come from Sony.
This would be awesome. I like Apple and Sony teaming up in this world in any kind of way necessary, because I'm sure, gaming on a 4K, iTV that the Vision Pro is the best way to play a PlayStation game. And that, having Sony's input for these controllers, if we can get any kind of synergy from them, like designing things for each other, or like you could play Sony PSVR games on an Apple device, that would be incredible.
Yeah, definitely. And I think both of these companies partnering on this probably makes a lot of sense, because each of them have put a lot of R&D into these devices and made really good devices, but just that aren't really taking off. Like, how many people do you know that use PSVR 2 versus use a PS5, And how many people do you know that have an Apple Vision Pro? It's very, very minuscule as
just
to these
us.
products. Yeah. So it's rumored they're going to be giving support for PSVR 2 controllers to the Apple Vision, which immediately opens it up for many more possibilities, like you talked about. And yeah, I was kind of thinking about what's the idea behind them deciding to gear this more towards work, the Apple Vision? And I think it's because of the price tag, because they can say it's a monitor and a computer and it's all of these things. But I do feel, and gamers are not going to be willing to pay for that. But if you add that in, some gamers are willing to pay a lot for their like custom gaming PC or pay for the latest game system. in whatever form it is, even if it's a high price tag. So you give it that next level of gaming onto the Apple Vision with great controllers, feels like you could actually get some people there.
One of the greatest apps on Apple Vision was the Marvel's What If app, because then you got to see what 4K gaming looked like in VR. We've never seen that before. We both own Quests, and I like that, and it looks good. There's nothing like wrong with a Quest. It's really fun to use. But seeing the 4K crispness, I'm like, oh my God, this is like a completely different level. And this is like, you should have sold it this way in some kind of way, shape, or form. And then you could have got like Vision Pro arcades or things like that, or game developers really excited to develop for Vision Pro. But you sort of neuter them when you don't give them the like controllers, because then they can't just port their game over as easily. Now, oh no, we have to use like hand tracking. And so that just seems very difficult to develop for. You're creating like this proprietary system that's not going to catch on, and then you're just not going to have a big game library. So.
Yeah, and there's certain things where the input device is still the best way to utilize it. So the rumors were that this was going to be a few weeks ago announced, and now it's still delayed and still going to come. But it would be a new move for Sony to sell these separately, because you can't get these controllers on their own aside from buying a PSVR system. So Apple might sell them. And then it says there's features beyond just gaming, like it might have better input for things like Final Cut Pro or stuff like that. And I could picture that being where you're like, it actually takes it to the next level. Maybe it's not at all annoying to use Final Cut on the Apple Vision Pro, and it's actually better than using it on at a computer. It just opens up so many more opportunities for this device to be more versatile, especially at the price.
Yeah, definitely. That's been the hardest pill to swallow. We were just talking about this, but I'm probably late on this in general because the price has gone down so much, but I'm finally maybe thinking about selling the Vision Pro. But I would eat probably $2,000 and just lost, because it's about what they're selling for, $2,000. So I think mine was around $4,000 originally with taxes and everything put together, which is a huge pill to swallow. But it was really cool getting to check it out. But really, they just aren't developing anything for it. It's not as useful. And I think I'm going to do what you're talking about, which is just keep it around to have it around.
Yeah.
In case something cool happens with it. But really, it's just but I did sell one other thing that I talk a lot about here on, and that's the Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
Oh, yeah? You sold them?
I sold them.
You were the guy that had them first, I feel like.
I love the idea of being able to talk to the device and have it see what you see. And now that's all implemented on the phone. We just talked about that on the other episode with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Google's coming out with a version of that. And even, Apple has their version of it where it could see what's going on. And AI doesn't do as good a job as you think it does at identifying things. So, like, I'm in Europe a lot on tour, and I want to go up to a castle and go, like, which castle is this? Tell me about it. And it wasn't great at that, It'll tell me about castles. It'll pick one that it thinks it is and run in a direction. But I'll be in a completely different country or something and go, like, that's not actually the one. And then by the time I've actually, put in all the information, I could have just Googled it.
Yeah.
Or just be reading whatever information's in front of me. So it didn't work as well as a tour guide that I thought it would. I thought it was a fine camera. Oh, we were talking about this too, which I got the box out again to sell them. And I did buy transitions, but I thought they just gave me clear ones because they never worked. And you're saying they're just really bad?
Yeah. I have the transitions, and yeah, it's like when you're in direct sun outside of a car, then you'll start to notice like, oh, okay, it's doing a little bit of something. But if I'm driving, doesn't transition. Even if my windows aren't tinted, it just doesn't get it. And then it's not quick as well. It's not like you walk outside and boom. So that's one big flaw of them, I think, is that those transitions are not very good, to the point where you thought they didn't even work. I will say, like, my first week, I was like, do these even work?
Yeah.
And I had to, like, put them... I remember just putting them outside in the sun, just seeing, like, I'll come back in 10 minutes and see if it has transitioned. And, yeah, so that's funny that you... And unfortunate that you thought they weren't transitions, but I think they were. They're just not good at it.
The other big thing, I love the headphone feature of it. I thought the headphones were fine. I've heard people complain about those in the past, but they're actually really good. The other thing that really, made it not usable was that it was software locked with everything that wasn't Apple. So like you can get text messages, it's really hard to send another one out. They're trying to get you to listen to stuff from your WhatsApp that I never use or something like that, or something from Messenger. And I'm like, I don't care about all these Meta Facebook products. Like I don't need to know about these things. Do I have to like go in there and individually turn all this off? Or there just wasn't enough there to help it connect to the iPhone. And so, that's where Apple glasses or whatever their version of this thing coming in the future might actually be something I'd use more. But again, what I really want is just the neutral hardware device version that has like an app store that I could program outside of this, where it just uses ChatGPT or whatever, because that's like the best thing for all of these things now. So I think this is a huge opportunity for ChatGPT to make some glasses like this, and try to cut in there without having to to use Messenger or anything like that, like, and be able to just see stuff and tell you about it.
Yeah, it almost feels like you could jailbreak or hack those glasses in some way, because all you need is just the camera feed to be able to transmit back to GPT, because you could already do audio. You could do an audio chat and be connected on Bluetooth to those glasses and use the GPT voice assistant. So yeah, like you're saying, a neutral device that's able to send feeds back, send a video feed from the glasses camera to GPT, then you get GPT's visual intelligence. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and if you got like 4 action buttons on the thing or whatever that you could just program into whatever you want, that's shortcuts for, whatever, like take a picture of your Instagram or, all the things you could do on the Meta version, and all the APIs talk to each other in the middle of that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great product. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, and, just make the transitions work, and then we got ourselves a product here. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything like that from the Apple in the near future, which is a bummer. And then Samsung, or like no one's made really any claims that they're making anything like this too. So it seems like just such a, category that a lot of people have forgotten. Good thing that Meta made them, but there's still a lot of room for growth in this category.
Yeah. I do think my argument for you keeping the Apple Vision at this point is that just keep it for 30 years, so that when you're wearing your contact lenses that are giving us all of these features and just that, then you can put that on and be like, see kids, this is what we thought was amazing at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe more than 30 years to get to a contact lens, but we'll see.
Speaking of having an opportunity of people not making these devices, we have another set of glasses from a company called XReal. We've seen them in the past. They've made glasses. They sort of look like the glasses that you wear after you go to the optometrist and you need to wear like the big old people glasses to get over. But I actually like the concept better than a lot of what we've been given, because like, it's awkward. You wore the Apple Vision Pro on a flight. Like, it's an awkward thing.
Yeah.
And then we talked about in another episode using laptops all the time while traveling, and how sort of cumbersome that is to your body gets crushed forward, like you're leaning forward, you have to look into it, and then the screen's not big. And so they don't look good, but they're not super expensive like any other product. And they don't have anything proprietary where they need to like plug into your actual device from the thing. But it is at least a situation where, like, okay, now I have a second monitor and I don't have to look down at this thing on my laptop.
Yeah.
So it has all the features of my laptop. It just uses my laptop's power. It's not elegant. It's like the worst designed thing. And it doesn't look cool. But it literally does the job that you need it to do. Now, can these major companies come in and, like, try to fix this problem in this way? Because I do think that this is something that people want. Like, I know you have a laptop there already, but it is really awkward working on a laptop all the time. So if you could just look straight and be straightforward, and it would just be so much more of a good experience. And the thing is, XReal is now starting to catch up with people like Meta Quest, because they're coming out with their first 3D device. And so This does the thing where it could put like a full ultra wide screen in front of you, like an Apple Vision Pro can, and it can have 3D objects in space, probably more on par with what the Meta Orion glasses, like really pixelated, really bad looking ones. But we don't need the most perfect looking thing. We don't need 4K if we're just trying to read emails on an airplane or something like that. You just want something that either like hooks directly into your phone and a keyboard, and I can get work done in a small package, and I don't care if I look like a nerd for 5 minutes, because I'm not keeping these glasses on my face all day. They're not designed for that. They're designed for work.
Yeah, for the
They can
use
literally
case.
just say like work glasses on them or something like that. And so you're not as worried about, oh, do these look like cool Ray-Bans? Because I'm not wearing them anywhere that matters. I'm wearing them when I need to work, and then people know that I can't see them. Like, that's all you need to know. So
Yeah.
I really am curious as to why no major company has been trying to compete in this space. Even anyone in the monitor world, like Asus or, those sorts of names. So what do you think of these glasses?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, because that is one of the great use cases for the Apple Vision is, like you said, traveling. And I've done that on a plane with the laptop here, and then I'm able to like sit back and be in a comfortable, like neutral posture, as opposed to this neck thing the whole time. And then it's a much better display because it's huge. And they even just updated, you can do the ultra wide now on the Apple Vision. So you can get a really great experience out of it. So if you can do that in a smaller package and it's like, that's all it's focused on, then you can get that price down and get the size down to where it's providing you this function, but it's, they're not worried that it's this all-in-one AI incredible device that's going to change the world. It's a great monitor. I think that's great.
Yeah, so the price tag of the earlier model that just is 2D is around $400 to $500. And so I see the price tag on this maybe $750 to $1,000. But, then it just does one thing well, and it promises it does that, and it doesn't do it perfectly, but it does it, and it's not $4,000 and trying to do everything. Or it's not also like a gaming device where taking a Meta Quest, even though it does all those things, would be really cumbersome to take on a trip.
Yeah.
If you just throw these glasses, they're the size of like a normal sunglasses box, and you can use them like this. Seems really convenient, and I think this is a product category that's actually going to move, some units and people are going to be excited about, versus like, waiting 5 to 10 years for the Orion glasses to be perfect. And even that doesn't have a lot of use cases to it, and you could see text messages here, like there, but you have your watch right now that could do all those things. But we don't have something that's just like a quick monitor on the face. So, I think quick face monitor, another Andrew prediction, will be a category that starts to keep rising over the next year.
The quick face monitor. Yeah, potentially, because it is getting to this point. Yeah, we have screens everywhere. So either it'd be great to easily connect to all of them, like your airplane screen, back of seat display. Let me just connect my computer to that somehow easily. Or, these glasses, which would be better than that. And you could just throw that screen anywhere in your space, which seems pretty cool. But that is kind of a cool competitor because it's a different company, and maybe they'll just get bought out by somebody, like a monitor company or one of these big tech companies. But, of course, if Apple has worked on it, Android is also working on it. So we are hearing this week about Android XR, which is their steps into extended reality, as they're calling it.
Yeah, we don't know a lot about this device yet. It looks like a Vision Pro competitor, but we don't know exactly because a Vision Pro is such its own category with the 4K screens and trying to be the best of the best. So we don't know where this is going to get priced in at. And if it's priced anywhere near the Vision Pro, it's going to fail exactly like the Vision Pro has been failing in bigger sales numbers and being widely adopted. Obviously, it's a great product. It didn't fail at that. The other big thing about this is that it dives directly into Google Gemini, the Android ecosystem, Gmail, keeping all these things connected in the way that Google is good at doing.
Yeah.
And the one thing that Apple cannot do in the next year or two is really implement AI into their services. I know we talk a lot about Apple Intelligence, and right now Apple Intelligence is just piggybacking of a lot of other things and giving us features one slow feature at a time.
Yeah.
So there's no way Apple in the next 2 years is going to be able to do something like how Google Gemini is using agents and has access to all your files and can actually do stuff like send emails. Apple's not going to be able to do that within the next 2 years. Everyone's going to be doing that on Gemini or on ChatGPT or something else.
Yeah.
And so if you can make a VR device now fully usable, how does that start happening?
Yeah, so for this operating system from Google, they say it will power future headsets and glasses that, quote, transform how you watch, work, and explore. And apparently the first version of this is Project Muhan, which is a mixed reality headset built by Samsung that will be available next year. So mixed reality headset, I'm going to guess we're looking something like a Meta Quest type of thing. Because if they're calling it mixed, that means it can also shut off. So it's not glasses that you can see through with your actual eyes. So that makes a lot of sense. I think they'll probably go for the lower price range as opposed to trying to compete with the Apple Vision, considering they're going to go for more sales, basically. But I'm curious to see this, but it's always going to be that Android side of things. So I'm wondering, is it a standalone device or does it interface with your phone and potentially use some of the phone's computing power?
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I don't know why everyone makes such a big deal about these things being standalone devices. I have my phone in my pocket 24/7.
Yeah.
Use it, Make it and if it's not secure enough of a connection, use a wire. Who cares, It's not on my face, and then it's not stopping me from this wireless connection. It's not stopping me from going anywhere because my phone has a battery. So if you hook it to the device, it's not tethering me. And, the Apple Vision isn't that annoying to have like an external battery pack or whatever. So, I don't see the problem with any of that.
Yeah, and like the Orion glasses have a puck that it's connected, that you hold on to, and it's connected through. Actually, that one's wireless, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is obviously the best solution.
Yeah.
But for the meantime, if you can deliver us a great headset that tethers to our phone with the wire, it's going to be great.
Simple face monitor. We want a simple face monitor made by one of you big companies. Give us a simple face monitor that's like $250. And that's crap, but like everyone really, it's usable, and you will sell so many of those units because I'm tired of working on my laptop. I know most people must be tired of working on their laptop for things. I don't need the 4K, 5K Retina displays for every single thing that I do. Sometimes I just want to check email. So I want to lay in bed and be able to work on something, or like I want to use my phone in bed to like watch a show. It could be connected to the thing. I don't want to hold my phone out there for a million years, and just having a set of glasses on my face is way more convenient. And when you take down the price tag and you take down the quality to like a passable level, it's just one of those things that like focus on what makes someone's life better, not necessarily making like the best untouchable thing. And then the whole category will explode or whatever, and then you can work on, whatever the next greatest thing is. But just let this category be okay,
Yeah.
Don't try to create, like this monster that does everything. Just make it do one good thing.
Yeah, and then it will be affordable, and then it can add and expand from there.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
costs are coming down.
Now add a camera to it. Okay, you have the pro version that's like now $1,000 or something like that. Or now, add 3D or all these things that you're trying to do. But yeah, definitely.
So the Apple Vision hopefully is adding controllers soon, which should expand its capabilities a lot. But all that Andrew really wants is a face monitor.
Simple face monitor, please. Where's AI Santa? Let's talk to him again.